So again, for those of you who have just joined, welcome to CRT Presents Malaysia E-Invoicing, all you need to know to be compliant. So we've got some crucial content that we'll be covering today, and we'll be talking about the Malaysia E-Invoicing initiative, how that is going to impact you, and what you have to do to prepare for the upcoming mandatory adoption starting later this year. Plus, today we have a surprise guest speaker from Crayon Malaysia, our Microsoft partners, who will be sharing some interesting tips about how to get more out of your Microsoft 365 subscription. Our guest speaker will also be sharing some cool new features of Microsoft's new launch, the Microsoft Copilot AI engine, and that's sure to be a game changer. You'll want to stick around for that. Also, for those of you who just logged in and missed the earlier announcement about the Q&A, we will be having a Q&A session later on. So if you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A function at the top of the screen, and we will get to them later after the presentation. And so without further ado, I'd like to kick things off and introduce to you our speaker for today, our very own Ms. Sharon Kwan. Sharon is the COO of CRT Insights Technologies. She's a seasoned expert with close to 2 decades of experience under her belt. So through her years of experience, she's helped a plethora of businesses from a plethora of industries harness their data into business intelligence and profitable assets. So without further ado, I will pass the time over to Sharon.
Thank you, Kisha. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So very good afternoon. I believe all of you have already had the lunch, so wouldn't feel sleepy on this section. So without further delay, give me a minute. Let me share a screen for those. And Kisha, I think you can put the QR code on the chat for them to sign. For those just joined, to sign in via the chat, and they can scan from the chat. Okay. So all right. So to ensure there is not much forgot. So all of you remember to switch off the sound for your phone. So I'm switching off my phone sound first. Okay. Right. So all right. So to ensure there is less interruption into my internet bandwidth, so I will switch off my video camera now, which is switch on back when I'm in the Q&A section. So thank you. Okay. So thank you for joining today afternoon section, our webinar for Malaysia e-invoice readiness in dynamic NAV 4 and until the version 2017. So what is the topic we're going to be covered for today? Of course, before what dynamic NAV 4 toward the BC can be offered. So we will go through with you what is the e-invoice requirement by Malaysia, which require to be compliance. What is the initiative why Malaysia wants to deploy the e-invoices? So what does dynamic NAV 4 toward the 2017 that CRT can offer for our client that we have been prepared going to be deployed? And what is the thing that as a client, as a company that you need to be prepared before the e-invoice is officially launched in the Malaysia, okay, for your company? Okay, first of all, we have to see launch date. When is the launch date for the event? So we all know that first batch of the e-invoice will be launched in this year, August. So which is when the company annual turnover is more than 100 million based on the audited report as of financial year 2022. So for those who is the account department, so please make sure you do the validation. For those joining as an IT, you must be checked with your account. So to ensure you didn't lag off when we're doing the deployment. So if you're not the first batch, then what is the second batch? So the second batch will be referred to the business turnover between 25 mil to 100 mil. So this group of the company, your deployment date to be officially kickstart is on the January 2025. And for those below 25 mil, that you are the last batch to comply with the Malaysia e-invoice, is on the July 2025. So you can see that this one was mandatory for all the taxpayer in Malaysia. Okay, all right. So I believe this is in every day was repeated in the social media if you're referring or from your auditor. Okay, so this is you again to know that, to remind you. So when Malaysia say want to implement the e-invoice, so of course, firstly, why they want to be implement. The whole idea is they want the company or the taxpayers to prove of the income received. So where the income, whether this is a legal income and what's the invoices you issue. So for any taxpayer from the company point. So of course, when we submitted the income tax, beside proof of the income, we need to have it. Another thing is you have to prove of the expenses. I believe that some of the company, when in nowadays with audit, LHDN come and audit your account, they may ask you to prepare all the hard copy or email all the hard copy. So the whole concept when the Malaysia E-Invoice would like to deploy is want to ensure they're easy to retrieve the information from their cloud database. So that they don't need to ask from the company point, can you give me the document to prove that? So that is a whole idea when they say E-Invoice. Okay, so let's be on. So now let's look at the thing that we mentioned about we need to raise the e-invoices. So is that all companies have to raise the e-invoice? No, because according to the guideline, this is the list of the association that not require or company not require. Example, you are the government or you're the local authority or you're a consultant office and diplomatic officer. So anything related to this is not required, it's exempted. Okay, so beside that is those expenses that we pay off or the income we receive. Example, from the personal point of view, we receive our monthly salary. So this is not required to issue the e-invoices. So we may have the pension fund, distribution of dividend in the specified circumstances, and maybe also the scholarship, like for those students that receive from company or association. So this was not require any e-invoices to proof of the revenue or proof of the expenses. Okay, so this has been extracted from the general guideline released by LHDN. So you can refer that for more detail if you require. Okay, so when just now we talk about who is exempted, then you maybe have a question. Am I the company required to raise? Yes, you are, because typically the e-invoices is to cover for the B2B, B2C, and B2G. So is it from business point, when we issue the thing to government, we sell the thing to government, we also require to issue the e-invoice for them as a proof of income. So this one was applied, as I said in the very beginning, where I say e-invoices is applied for all taxpayer in Malaysia who was doing the commercial activity. What is commercial activity? Is like the company point, be it you are the partnership or maybe you are the sole proprietor. So this is all the industry that you are required to be compliant with the e-invoice requirement. So we went for B2G. So B2G is the transaction that we are dealing with the end consumer. So when today your end consumer not required to declare the expenses, then you not need to raise any e-invoice. So this one usually is applied to the retail or restaurant. So they are allowed in the guideline, they are mentioned that this is allowed to submit as a consolidated statement if the consumer that not require any e-invoices. If they require, then of course this cannot be done as a consolidated submission through in the month end through Malaysia e-invoice portals. Okay, so now we look at that you know that Malaysia is allowed for consolidated e-invoice submission. Then you may ask, so is it my industry is a must? Move on to look at the further on this part. So there in the guidelines, specified guideline, government also this now that, okay, this is a few industry that is not allowed to issue consolidated e-invoice submission. So especially those customer you are doing the automotive industry. So I think from my guest list, I saw that some of you is my customer who is doing the wholesaler and the retailer of the construction material. So please take note that your company is not allowed for consolidated of the e-invoice submission. So you are fall on the category is per invoice, you must doing the submission. And we know that based on the e-invoice requirement that the unique identification will be sent by the My Invoice portal upon validate. So this is the part that later on we will talk more. So how to review that, is it really impact your current business process or not? Okay. Right, so let's continue. So can I know that any one of you knowing that what is the e-invoice process for that sharing in the LHDM website? Do you review that? Okay, so this is the one that we extract from the LHDM website. So if you want it, then you also can be found it from the website. So first of all, this is a high-level overview for everyone to know the workflow about the e-invoicing. So we need to issue the legal sale transaction via the My Portal or API. Okay, for the validation by the IRBM. Okay, so when we're doing a submission already via these two methods, so they will be validated. And when they validate already, they will send out through their portal, they will send out the notification to two parties, that is to the buyer and to the seller. So when the seller is receive the particular notification with the unique unique identification. So you will be required to share the particular e-invoice hard copy from your system, all right, to your customer. So when they receive already, as a buyer and seller, both of you have 72 hours to be identified whether you reject or you want to cancel the e-invoice with the valid reason. Of course, if this is performed, then the My Invoice portal will get the update. As the seller, you will receive also the notification. Same goes for the buyer itself. So this is the generic flow that shared by the government. This is the workflow for how Malaysia e-invoice is working. Okay. So just now in the slide, we did mention there are two methods. So let us move in for more detail about the two methods that shared by the IRBM that we can be adopt. So first is using the My Invoice portal. So this is the official app that launched by the IRBM. Okay, so this portal, as I said, is launched by IRBM task. The hosted part will be by the players, including the sole proprietor, the hawker, whoever you are allowed to access. So do you need to pay? No, because this is a free app that launched by the LHDN, that when you got the registration approved, you will have your ID, you will have the login code to here to create your e-invoice. So then the other method is offered by them is by using the API connection. So API connection is the one do the seamless connection from the system, which this require the upfront investment to be linked directly from your ERP system using through My Invoice portal. So this one usually is using for those organizations with a large of a big transaction volume that require the immediate response. Okay. Okay, so there is two types. So let's review what is the differences of these two types in the from the IRBM point of view. So this is the first one. You can see the option A, as we mentioned here just now, is to raise the e-invoices in the My Invoice portal. So when the My Invoice portal is user have to log in, so the data will be stored in the IRBM cloud. So the cloud will do the validation and email back the notification to the supplier, that is to yourself. And whereby at the same time, your buyer will able to be receive it. Okay, the same notification. So the important thing is the email setup in your current ERP system is very important. Make sure you have to get your operation team to check all the email address that you currently define and set up in Dynamic NAV. Okay. So within that, so you can see, since if you are today using the option A, so any cancellation you want to do, you have to log into the IRBM cloud to do the cancellation or to do the rejection. Okay, so with after the 72 hours, if there is no feedback, no rejection, no cancellation received, then the IRBM cloud will move the thing to put into IRBM database. This is where another platform that you can access the history data of the invoices you receive through the IRBM cloud. Okay, so the second option, as I said, is the option B. Option B will be via the direct technology provided. There is like using the API. So whatever invoices you issue will be synchronized automatically to the IBM cloud without using the manual uploading method compared to the option A. So then once the thing was validated, same goes, you will receive the notification if the successfully validation. If there's any rejection, you can go through your the ERP system to send the rejection or cancellation, then they will sync back to the IRBM cloud. Okay, so the same notification we also receive from your buyer. Your buyer will go into the website for any cancellation. So that is the differences when you're using the API method and as well as accessible or using the My Invoice Portal method. Okay, I still see some of you are still signing in. Okay, so then when we keep talking about invoice, so you may assume that is it only invoice you issue from the system is required to do the e-invoice? Answer is no. So e-invoice also including other sales transactions such as credit note. Okay, so debit note you issue related to the business. Example is related to whether I want to be charged lower or charged below price. So this is called, you have to issue debit note with valid reason code. This is same as the time when we deploy the Malaysia deployed the GST time. Any credit note or debit note raised from the system must be with the valid document to apply. Okay, with the valid reason that accept by LHDM or IRBM side. Okay, so there are new thing that which is different with the previous. Is one called refund note. So I think some of you may ask, what's refund note? So I hope you know that the refund note is referred to monetary return, meaning that for CN, you can offset the existing outstanding, whereby for refund note is you want to process the return of money to your customer, such as overpayment, maybe they make the down payment to you, and you want to do the refund. So, and then instead of like offset any invoices, so that you have to require to issue the refund note. Okay, so this is the differentiation between credit note and refund note. Okay, so we keep mentioning we want to proof of income, and proof of expenses. So from the proof of expenses point of view, so if you purchase from local, we have no problem on that because all the Malaysia company business entity is must compliant with the e-invoice. But we do have the supplier, which is from the overseas, and in the government regulation is they are not compulsory must be fulfill our Malaysia e-invoice. So for this type of the transaction, government was require the purchase sale billable e-invoice. I hope your guy not feel not familiar, because this has been doing the same concept in the time when we deploy our Malaysia GST. So this is the listed of the type the transaction that require to perform the purchase sale billable invoice. So this is the objective to prove this is the actual expenses incurred by your company is allowed to deduct from the tax. Okay, so first of all, the first type of the transaction will be the agent, meaning that if today you pay the agent, which is they are not under any company, you pay the agent fee to them. So you have to raise the purchase sale billable invoice before you making the payment. And you can see that is when I buy seller, so we as a Malaysian purchaser, I have to issue on behalf for my supplier, but government will not send any notification to them. Okay, the notification will only receive as a buyer side, but not the seller side. So other than that will be like the e-commerce purchase. Example, I believe most of us very familiar that we will buy from Shopee, Lazada, Taobao. So all these type of the purchase, when the time e-invoice is deployed, you want to prove this is the expenses incurred, that you must be make sure e-invoice you might issue on behalf as a purchase sale billable invoice. So the purchase sale billable e-invoices you raise from the purchase module will be also required to upload to the My Invoice portal to obtain the unique identification number from them. Okay, right. So this is the part that you need to take note from the business entity part. Okay, so when just now we mentioned about the e-invoice. I believe initial state you may talk about e-invoice. Is it referred to any PDF or any Word file document that we should email to our client? So, but as per current, you download and attach as an attachment. But answer is no. When the e-invoice is deployed, IRBM is only accept true format to be uploaded through their portal. Method number 1 is using the XML. Method number 2 is using the JSON format. Okay, so other than that, below format like the PDF, JPEG, image, Excel is not acceptable by them. Okay, so we cannot. So for those is using the My Invoice portal, it's not suitable. It cannot be submitted via using the PDF or document format. Okay, so if your system doesn't available XML, then too bad, you have to manually go to the My Invoice portal to create the invoice by yourself before you come back to your system to update it. Okay, so we're talking about that is the e-invoice required to raise, and we want to share the document. So let us have a quick view on the format that required. Okay, so this is the e-invoice sample format shared by the IRBM in their guideline. First thing is we need to have all the team numbers, whether you are the company or you are selling to the personal. So from the company point, we need to have a team number to print in the document. And today, if your customer want you to shift to the third party, meaning that the third party is not their company, but is their customer. So they also require the full company name, full address, and also the receiving party team number to be put in. So if the receiving party also with the SST, is a SST registration company, so this will be also one of the mandatory field to be print out in the document to share to them. So on top of that, the other changes that will in future for your e-invoices or share is the button here. You need to print the QR code and also the LHDM, the certification number, and the date and time, the certificate. Okay, so this is a must. So other than that, if you are CN, then of course they want to know this CN is applied to which document. So what is the status right now? This will print from the system. So this will be the part for you as a reference and to review your current document, output document that you issue to your customer. Especially for the customer that you got many format, you maybe have to be identified there. Okay, where to put, how to adjust your current existing printout. So if you're using pre-printed, so do you want to change or you want to print a new box of the pre-printed document? Okay. So all right. So and beside the purchase e-invoice sample format, we can retrieve another one will be the self-billable invoice. So you do the submission on behalf of the agent or foreign supplier. So government also require you to print out that as a copy and to share with them or as your own filing. Okay, so any point of time when they require, you must be able to print it out. So same goes, they require your derivation supplier team numbers, your own team numbers, their registration number. So that is some of the mandatory things that require to be in the printout document. Okay, all right. So let's continue. Okay, so we talk about the field required in the document. Let's review quickly on what is the mandatory field that in future when e-invoice is launched, you need to maintain in dynamic NAV 4 or until the NAV 2017. So first thing from company point, as yourself, as a business entity. So the important thing is must be make sure your business registration number is updated and then your MSIC code. So MSIC code will be the core one at this moment according to the guideline. I believe some of the company, you may got a lot of the MSIC code registered, but according to the guideline is they just need to print one at this as per current updated. And your tax identification number. So for your info, we already able to extract company tax identification number from our company tax portal. So later we show you how it look like. And if your company also the SST registration company, so make sure the SST registration number is also maintained in your ERP system. So other than that, the other two additional thing will be they require to know about the version of the e-invoice you're using. So this will be updated by provider CRT in the program. So we will release which version to the client. Okay, and the digital certificate validity date. So later we'll share with you how to check this validity date from the team number company tax portals. So and the customer. So the first two, the same thing they need to have is the business registration number, their TIN number, and the SST registration number. So that is the three things that is required to manage beside the full address, full correct contact person, and the email. So this is another three things you need to ensure it is updated and will be available to the My Invoice package that we launched. Okay. Right, so let's move. Okay, so just now we say about the MasterCard. So of course, there's not just the only thing you need to be do the data collection. Okay, so in your daily transaction script, so this is the information that required by LBM. So to manage in the ERP for printout purposes. So this as per current is total 51 fields. Okay, so this 51 field that has been categorized to 9 categories. So first thing is referred to the party. When you look at the first column, that will be supplier and buyer. Supplier is referred to yourself, buyer is referred to your customer. And their detail, that's mean your own detail as a supplier. You can see from here, I got my TIN number, I got my MSIC code, my business activity. This is all required to be printed out in the e-invoices, as well as also your buyer detail. Okay, so you can see one of the key info is the email and their business TIN number, their buyer TIN number as well. Then we come to their address. Both you need to address and the contact number and the contact person for the seller and buyer. So other than that, it will be the content of the details, example, the currency you're using, the e-invoice validate date, validation date, and then your own digital signature, and also the e-invoice version. So, and then other 3 columns, we're talking about product that you're selling with tax or without tax is exempt. To know what is the exempted amount. And this will be the unique identification approved number that you're going to be received from the IRBM portal when your particular e-invoice uploaded is get validated, meaning approved to them, validate is approved. So other than that, there is an optional category 9 will be the payment info. So this is something optional that you can be choose whether you want to print out in the document or not. So that's not compulsory. So total will be the 9 column. So in future, in your NAV 4 or the NAV 2017, you may see some new field over there due to Malaysia e-invoice compliance. Okay. Okay, we keep talking about TIN number, self-billable invoice. So do you have a question to say? What if because my following supplier is not compulsory? My following customer is not compulsory to have Malaysia e-invoice to deploy it. Where to get their TIN number? Should I put NA? Answer is no. Okay, so in the guideline, they do provide that today if you're dealing with the individual, example, an agent, a person who do not have a company. So you want to raise the e-invoice to them, like they buy a consumer buy something from you, but they forgot their TIN number. So you can use the public TIN number. So start with E, end with the 10. So then you can see following buyer, if today you sell to your export, means all your export customer TIN number will start with the E1 and end with 20. So whereby for your import supplier, will be start with E1 and end with 30. So this is currently default by the IRBM side. Okay, so you have the default. Okay, if this was not fulfilled, I believe, according to current scenario testing dimension, they will reject it. Okay. All right, so we talk about requirement, we talk about export, import. Question you may ask, what kind of currency rate should I use? Can I follow whatever current, what I define? So answer is, if today you are dealing with the, you're doing the export, if you got the exchange rate that received from the Royal Custom, example, your K1 form. Okay, so according to the right up here guideline was mentioned, you have to be follow the K1 exchange rate. But whereby for the export, so for the export, if there's no exchange rate is mentioned, so it can be followed based on your company policy, exchange rate defined either in the ERP or you have the supporting document like you maybe have a guideline for your exports team, selling team that, okay, any export you will follow, example, bank negara rate, you will follow the bank rate, or maybe we got the monthly announcements that. So this is allowed to be used. So as long as you have to prove that you don't have it when you're doing the export. So you are following your company, which is with the SOP has been referred to that. So this one, I think from finance, you have to take note on that to do the preparation, ensure your sales team will receive the correct information. Okay. Okay. So when we're talking about the exchange rate, the currency, okay, so the next step will be the field requirement, key requirement we extract from the LHDM guideline released in October for general and for the specified industry. Okay, so if you need more, you also can be download the data from there, or you can refer to your tax consultant. So let's continue for the next thing that we're talking for so much. So you may want to know what that CRT can offer. What have you been ready? So when Malaysia want to be official launch of Malaysia e-invoices. So let me show you that for your version, what is the method that we are preparing for you? Due to the technology change and the version change for the 17, you only can be use the export and manual uploading method through the My Invoice portal. Because in your current version that you're using is very old technology coding, so it doesn't available with the API web services. So for this particular package and the e-invoice model we offer for you is you are able to export your sales invoice and export your sell-billable purchase invoice system. You're able to identify that. Okay. And after the invoice is export, and if government allow us to download with the same format, then the downloading format will be update back, import back to the system with the information example, the validation date and time, the validated status, okay? Then before, and then the unique identification numbers as well the QR code link that you can be print out in your hard copy document. So this part currently that we are prepared for that, so waiting for them to have the further announcement when the SDK is ready. For your info, government not yet ready the SDK. Okay, they are still in process in their testing according to the reply from the IRBM side. Okay, so on top of that, of course, we also provide the 3 free output document modification for your sale. So that's why this is the part that you have to start prepare, as well the 3 purchase document that for the particular company, for one company basis, we'll do the free. So if you have more than that, you have to quickly identify how many output document that you are required to be modified when the e-invoice is launched. So I know that. So all right, for current, you can start reviewing. Can you standardize your document printout, output printout or not, rather than you have a lot of the different copy by company basis? Okay. All right. So we do a quick summary about what we offer. So then I will show screen that we have been ready. Okay. So that what you're going to be seeing in future when you are using the dynamic NAV. So I'm didn't using the NAV4 screen because more or less it's the same, because NAV4 I checked the listing. If not wrong, currently I only left 1 or 2 customers is still using the NAV4. So most of my client other than that in online, the join in the webinar is in the version 2013 to 2017. So in your company information, as we said, important thing, we will have a new tab called My E-Invoice. So from here, you will able to view that, to set up your TIN number, your approval certification. But today, if you're exported, one more important thing is they need you to fill out your authorized number for certified exporter. So today, if your company doing the export business, make sure this have to be updated here. And also the IC code that you are identified, okay, and registered in with the SSM, okay. And then on top of that, we have provide a new table to store the digital certificate with the digital signature, because government was mentioned that digital certificate is only valid for either 2 years or 1 year. So you can see this will be the CGL digital ANDA that you can be generated from your company based on your company tax code. So as per current, the TIN number for the company will be based on your company tax number, whereby for personal there is a changes. So today, if you have a claim from your staff, you also need to raise the e-invoice, okay, in certain criteria, okay. Then they also have the TIN number. There is a new TIN number they can extract from their My Tax portal, okay. So that is the part that, okay. So that, all right. So another important thing that you have to is to have the new field, TIN number field, okay, in your current NAV4, okay, in your currency, in your new system. And then other than that will be the shift to address. So previously, we don't need to manage our shift to address TIN number and business registration number, but for LHDN, so we require that e-invoice required to maintain. So once this updated, they will flow to the transaction screen. So user not required to manual input again, okay. So for the vendor side, there we have a new field as well called TIN numbers, okay. For those customers who have implemented GST before, in your current system already have the business registration and VAT number, so you can start to update it, okay. Okay, so show you how the export for posted sales and purchase document it look like. So there will you have to be put in the name, the file name that you want to save. So system will be going and identify which one not yet export for you to do the export for all the official sales invoice document from your posted sales invoice listing. So one is posted, then they will attract. So for company who are doing the business is like example, some of you have a lot of the doing the DO invoice at the same time. So you may have a question, how fast I can get the validation key, unique identification number? According to the write-up and the guideline mentioned is within 30 seconds. But I'm not sure. But of course, this also very depend on your infrastructure, how fast for your internet. So for this part, that most of the business that if you're doing the DO and invoice issue together to the customer, you have to review it, or maybe you have to memo out to your customer. I will raise the invoice for you as a draft before I receive the unique identification number, which will email to you in separately when we receive that. So that. And in this way, they will not impact your business much. So for operational side, I think you'll need to review it again. Okay, right. So, okay. So other than that, of course, in the posted document, what is the new field that you may see? So we will have the time to trigger when you export, because you have to export through the format required for you to be uploaded. So here we have the audit trail for you to know that when you perform the export action. Okay. And other than that will be the TIN number, unique identification number and TIN number. So I did show all in the screen. So whereby for the purchase side, when you have the PO or purchase invoice, there is a two new field that you have to fill out. One is the E-Invoice unique ID. Okay, so this one we will normally apply for local, whereby for self-billable, this is not the mandatory field. So self-billable will be only updated after you posted the email and posted the purchase invoice and submitted for the IRBM to do the validation. Okay. Okay. So we do prepare some report for you to do the reconciliation and validation at the end of the day. So of course, first of all, we will provide a summary document listing. So you can select either by document type or all the document for the sales side. So to print out, so they will have the approved unit number, valid number, TIN number for your customer, for your buyer point, and whether with tax and what is the tax amount or without tax. Okay, so it will show all in the screen, okay, in the reporting for you to do the validation. So of course, we also provided those documents you already exported and uploaded, and then which one is pending for. So this will be turned out as a real-time report every time when you generate with the latest data updated here. So you don't need to be worried about, do I need to filter? Do you have a bad debt? There's no bad debt thing. This is the TIN numbers and the validation status. Okay, so samples that in the BC is your invoices that you need to identify where to put the TIN number for either yourself or your company from either purchase on sales point of view or the currency code. So this is just a sample. So remember, go and identify 3 sales and 3 purchase documents. Okay, so this is the list of the document, posted sales invoice, debit note, and credit note. Okay. Okay, so for the purchase, so it's also the posted printout. So of course, we will identify the new posted printout. We will change the naming to tax invoice. And before with the unique identification, we will print out without tax invoice wording in your document side. Okay, so this is some sample that we design. And when we say where we want to insert, so this is the expectation that based on IRBM requirement. Okay, so basically for NAV flow to 2017, that is what we can offer for you. Okay, do you have any question on that? Let me check the Q&A portal. Okay, there's
Sharon,
no
so far we
question.
have no, we have no questions so far.
Yeah, I just have no question. So, okay. All right, so in that case, Kisha, I hand over back the section to you for you to be continue from your end. So you will share screen, right?
Let me see if I can control from here. Okay. All right. So Thank you, Sharon, for the first half of our presentation. So as I mentioned earlier, today we have special guest speakers from Crayon Malaysia who is here to share with you about how you can get more out of your Microsoft 365 subscriptions. So to give you a bit of a short introduction about Crayon, Crayon is headquartered in Oslo, Norway, with more than 3,700 employees in 46 countries. Crayon operates a global customer-first and vendor-agnostic IT consultancy. Their mission is to help clients select the best solutions for their business needs and budget to thrive and innovate with software, cloud, data, and AI. So our speaker today is Visrendra, who is the cloud engineer at Crayon. So let's kick off this special segment. Vis, please take it away.
Hi, Kesha. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Right, hold on. Let me just share my screen. Right. Hello, guys. Very good afternoon and welcome to the Do More with Microsoft 365 Secure Productivity SMB briefing and an immersion experience. So my name is Viz, and we have a great session planned for today, just designed just for a company like yours. And we'll be covering a few topics in the time frame that we have. And also, I would like to showcase you guys a demo experience that shows how Microsoft 365 Business Premium and related solution can solve the challenges for SMBs today. Right. So the thing about today's era, I'm sure you'll hear about the challenges many small and medium businesses face today in the areas such as security, collaborating in our new hybrid work reality. There are many people work from home and work from office, and not to forget the emergence of AI. Right. So, but with the right tools at our hand, this can be a time when your business grows and thrives. So with Microsoft and CRT are here to help you guys with that. So Microsoft 365 Business Premium is designed to equip business owners to respond to these challenges. So in this briefing, I will show you on how our solution, right, is able to help secure your business with the technologies that you can trust. And also lets you be more collaborative and connect with your team members. And also, last but not least, to help you incorporate AI into your work without concerning about security, right? So some of y'all may, let me go to the next slide. Right, so some of y'all may ask, what is Microsoft 365? For those of you who does not know what Microsoft 365, let me just give brief introduction. So in a few words, Microsoft 365 is a productivity cloud which works across work and your life, right? And as for Microsoft 365 Business Premium, as you can see on the third pillar, it's a solution built for small businesses that combines the application, intelligent cloud services, and the world-class security business that is very much needed today. So it's a powerful tool for SMBs, whether you're a business of hundreds or a business of one. So as you can see, there are three distinct offerings for Microsoft 365. We have the business basics, we have the business standard, and we have the business premium. And today I'm going to talk more on the business premium. Why is because of due to the security aspects of it. As you can see, we have a comprehensive security, which includes Intune, Azure Information Protection, Azure AD Premium, Windows Virtual Desktop, and Microsoft Defenders. Right? So without further ado, let me straight away dive into the demo for you guys. So enough said, let me show you. Right. So like most of us, I work from home. And one of the first things that we do every morning is basically turning on the PC and logging into my Office apps portal, right? So where I can access all my important tools I need for the day, right? So this usually means remembering passwords, And we all know how much fun it can be remembered to all sort of different types of passwords that we need to log in into different applications. But however, for this, when I power up my PC, right, and I press login, and you can see, notice a little bouncing eye on the lock screen, right? Yeah. And that is Windows Hello for Business. So using the front camera of my device, it recognizes my face and then uses my face as the password, which is called facial recognition, right? So this is one of the security aspects of it. And basically it turns out that passwords are the #1 security threat. So according to a recent data breach report, almost 80% of hacking related breaches used either stolen or weak passwords, right? So something you will see a lot during this experience today are that these kinds of security moments, right? So we know that SMBs are interested in how to say, increasing efficiency, boosting productivity, and reducing costs. But security is extremely important as well. So security has to be embedded into everything we do to secure our data while being protected from phishing attempts, ransomware, and other types of cyber attacks, right? So, and the next thing that I would like to show you guys is the Microsoft Defender for Business Admin Experience. Right, so this is Microsoft Defender, right, for business admin experience. So let's take a quick look behind the scenes to see Microsoft Defender for Business in action, right? So let's just give a scenario where there is an attack that has happened. So Defender for Business was triggered and they have let the IT admin, right, the IT admin to know something malicious was happening. Then they are able to track those malicious thing that is happening in their system. So here on this dashboard, on this Microsoft Defender dashboard, we can see the incident details the admin already has access to, right? As well as recommended safeguards and other measures to isolate and protect the machines and the users, right? You can see all over here. But as soon the attack started, Defender for Business created an incident report, right? So they've created an incident report whereby you are able to launch and investigate what has happened. So we can just simply click on the incident report here, right? So if you can see here, the IT admin can then investigate the incident further to identify where did the attack originated from and what are the malicious behavior that may happen. So I just simply click on the incident name, for example, the suspicious PowerShell command line. So as here you can see that there has one impacted device and one impacted user, which means there's only one person who is impacted. That is Megan, if you can see here, right? Right. So the IT admin has a graphical view of the incidents as well, right? Which attack began from Megan, right? So the IT just clicks on the graph and then we're able to see the attack originated from, right? So we can just click on more details. And then we can just open the alert page. So as you can see here, the alert story steps through moments by moment as the user initiated the command to the exit of the command prompt. So it will tell you what the user has done. It gives you a timestamp, the date, and so on. Basically, it gives you like a chronology of story of what has happened, right? So in the right blade over here, the IT admin can manage the alert, right? They can manage the alert, add a classification, and if similar incidents have happened in the past, they can link those alerts to each other as well. So here we see a detailed alert description, right, of what has happened and what could happen in the future, right? And also you can see that there are also recommended actions, right? So and these detailed recommended actions assist in preventing future attacks as well. So, and finally, if this same incident is happening throughout the company, the IT admin can see how many devices, users, mailboxes, and apps are basically impacted, right? So far, as we know, only one impacted device and user has been affected. So by isolating that device and that person and escalating the incident to the IT admin, who IT admin can then protect future assets from disruptions, right? So as you can see, Defender for Business automatically investigates alerts and helps to remediate the complex threat, acting as our personal security analyst, right? And working 24/7 to protect our businesses. So this means that the protection kicks in and remediates the threat even if the admin is on vacation or isn't present to see it. Hence, these are merely just the two things that I have showed you regarding about the security, but there are actually more to the business premium security tools which we can leverage on. Like I have showed you just now, the Microsoft Intune policies and all. There are so many aspects of it, right? Right. So next, I would like to actually show you guys. Right. So next, I would like to talk about a very interesting topic that we have to offer in terms of AI technology, which can tremendously help you in your daily work life, right? But before that, I would like to show some facts and studies that we have done on how AI-powered tools represent an enormous opportunity, right? So as you can see, nearly 2 to 3 people, which is about 64%, say that they are struggling with having the time and energy to do their job. And those people are 3 times more likely to also struggle with innovation and strategic thinking. So they are more occupied with a lot of repetitive works, right? Which can be done by someone else, or for example, AI, right? And moving on, since February 2020, people are actually also 3 times more into Teams meeting as COVID has hit everyone, and they have been doing more Teams meeting from home, and there's a lot of calls per week, right? So making them not to be able to do their work efficiently, and this means they have to work during the night, right? Avoiding not to be able to spend time with families and so on. Next is 70% of employees more eager for AI to lift the weight of work than they are afraid of job loss to AI. And 70% of them would actually delegate as much work as possible to AI to basically lessen their workloads. And data also shows that business leaders are looking to empower people with AI, right, rather than to replace them. So they are 2 times more interested in using AI to actually increase their productivity than to actually cut the headcounts, right? So in fact, reducing headcount was the last on the list of what leaders would value from AI. So therefore, let me introduce you to our most powerful AI, that is a Microsoft 365 Copilot. So Microsoft 365 Copilot for Microsoft 365 is an AI-powered productivity tool which uses a large language model, LLM, and which integrates your data with Microsoft 365 apps such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. So Copilot basically provides you guys a real-time intelligent assistant, right? Enabling users to enhance their creativity, productivity, and also skills. So now you can be more creative in Word, more analytical in Excel, more expressive in PowerPoint, more productive in Outlook, and also more collaborative in terms of in Teams, right? So let me go ahead and play you guys a short video on how Copilot is all about, right? Hold on. And I would also like to let you guys know that the most important thing about Copilot is that you're always in control. You decide what to keep, modify, or discard, right? So let's take a look at what Copilot can do for you. But before that, sound is not playing. I have to stop sharing, share. Isha, can you hear the sound playing?
Yes, I can hear that fine.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, so enjoy. Right, let me just show you guys one more video in terms of for Teams.
Copilot can help you stay on top of it all, summarizing Teams chat so you quickly see what you missed. Here you were asked for an update on the customer, and Copilot can help there too. You can simply ask Copilot to create a summary of all the customer conversations. It produces a summary with citations so that you can verify the details, refine it as needed, and post your update. You just received an invitation to brainstorm in a Loop workspace. Loop is a multiplayer collaboration canvas with Copilot as an AI peer along with everyone else. Here the team is collaborating in real time on product offers and pricing, adding notes and action items to keep everyone on track and up to date. You can ask Copilot to create a dataset from Excel on the top-selling products by category, and it will analyze and fetch the relevant data and compile it in a table. Since this is a Loop component, another member of your team can jump in and add a column for proposed discounts. Copilot even populates the data based on the specific instruction. Anyone can prompt Copilot to build on each other's ideas collaboratively, so that everyone can see from the prompt history how it arrived at the current state, with the option of undoing any instruction. Now you can close out the action item and get ready to meet with a customer.
All right, so that's one of it. Last but not least, I would like to talk about the licensing part, right? So previously, customers were only able to purchase under the EA agreement, right? But however, now the prereq have been lifted, and customers using the BS and all the way to BP, along with 0SKU and MSKU, they can now be able to purchase Copilot license. So there's no minimum license order on the site, right? So if you are on BS, BP, or OE3 or OE5, you'll still be able to acquire the Copilot licensing. So yes, that's pretty much for the licensing part. So I have reached to the end of my presentation, and I hope that was very much insightful to everyone and also fun. If there's any question, please feel free to ask in the Q&A session. And thank you very much for having me, Kesha. Back to you.
Thank you, Viz. So, yeah, that was a very interesting session. I think I'm most excited to find out more about Copilot. I think that's going to be a game changer in terms of how we do work. And basically because a lot of us are familiar with Microsoft products, this is really a new dimension in the business sphere in how we use Microsoft products. So thank you for your sharing this. Okay, so I believe a lot of our attendees here today are still curious about what we have to do because we covered earlier session with Sharon, we covered, what is e-invoicing about, how does it work, and what you are probably going to look at facing and how you're going to be compliant, but how do you actually get there, right? So the transition period is where we'll have Sharon come back and talk to you about what you need to do. So I'll pass the time over to Sharon again.
All right, thank you, Keisha. Okay, thank you everyone for still remain in the section. Okay, I know that you got a lot of questions, like some polls, when we got the changes in the system, when we can update. So let me go through the checklist that we have prepared for summary based on the earlier section that we done. And before I go into the Q&A, I saw there are a few questions posted in Q&A. So I'll come back to Q&A in short while. Okay, so from the client side, as your individually, each of you, what do you have to do? Okay, oh, my slide was go through the speaker thing again. Sorry, let me see what I have. Okay. Okay, what do you need to do? Of course, you're using the NAV. Okay, so I think all of you know NAV with the object, especially those from the IT. So for this development, of course, it's required to have the development object before it can be published. So this one we will work with you after the section. So then, of course, in earlier we did mention because of e-invoice, they require the unique identification numbers as a key information that must be printed out then to prove this is a valid document, tax invoice. So for those company like you, if you are doing the DO and invoice together, so you have to review back what kind of the impact in your company. Do you need to change or in what kind of notification you have to share with the customer and what kind of the change you need to be back. So to ensure there is no interruption for your operation. So of course, because we're talking about an e-invoice, we need to upload to the My Invoice portal. Okay, so of course for IT or whoever, if your IT not here, do convey the message to them. Make sure your network and infrastructure is ready, meaning can be your internet connection. So whether is it currently work well or not, or else when RHDN reply you or send the email notification to you, you didn't receive that. So this is a few things that you have to take note and to start to do the planning. Okay. All right. So when we're talking about the object, first of all, let's see what is the dynamic NAV 4 to true or 17 required to do. So this is the object needed. So you needed to have the tables, you needed to have the page, you needed to have the form, reports, code unit, and XML port. So this is the minimum requirement as per current. So it may be subject to change with any latest announcement or latest testing with the LHDN. So we will announce it accordingly from the time to time. Okay, so this is as per current. All right. So other than that, the checklist that you need to do, go and quickly talk to your finance. Is that our company fall in which timeline to be go live? We are in August or in next year. So how much time we still have it? Okay. So then to starting collecting the information from the customer, because as I told you now, most of we as a business entity and in the Malaysia, all of you sure confirm already will have the TIN number, that is your tax number. So you can start obtain the thing and do the housekeeping of the address format and then also the contact person and the email that going to be applied for future when the e-invoice inline. Okay, so that is a few things that from the company point you need to be do preparation. Okay, so and then identify the 6 document. So as we mentioned, if today you are purchase our export method package, we will free of charge for modified 6 output document, free purchase, free sales. Okay, so if you have more, please do let us know. Then we will provide you different quotation or discussion with you by my sales team or by my consultant side. Okay. All right, then, okay, timeline. Just now in the chat room, there is a timeline mentioned here. When you're going to be published to me, as I say, SDK not yet ready. So as per recently last 2 days updated in the NST news, and we saw that the first government is going to have the first voluntary live with those players that have the more than 100 million revenue in May. So it means that based on this, we count back the SDK shall be released either before or during that period of time around May. So can be said should be around end of Q1 or earlier of Q4. Q2, sorry, Q2. Okay, so from the time when we done the test, UAT with the My Invoice portal, then if you are in the first batch, so now we are using the first batch launching in the August as assumption. So then we will be starting talk to you, then you start do the subscription or buying the licensing during that for that part. And then we will start doing the training and deployment in July, in June and July time before it go live in August. So you use this as a guide for you to do your own plan. Let's say if you are in the batch 2, that's in January 2025 to go live. So meaning you have 2 months time to do the preparation from the IT point, to do the testing, to do the update, and with my team. So we will start compiling the thing where my team we will start send the Q&A to ask whether you are in which team and which company that you want to do in that. Okay. All right. So hope they answer the question posed by Lee Fen in the chat room on the timeline. Okay. All right. So now let us go to the Q&A section. There are quite a few questions is posted. Let me open the Q&A and I scroll to from the top. I think I have to be from the top. Okay, let me see. Where should I start? 20. Okay, I will start from the bottom side. Okay, digital cert we need to buy. Digital cert, I think foreign answer. This one is provided by RBM. You don't need to buy from us. You don't need to buy from government. As for current, you can request it from your tax agent or maybe your company accountant. They may have the access for your company tax portal. So you are able to generate it from there. The information for the digital certificate is over there. So at this moment, there is no charge. Okay. So it won't be installed in NAV. In NAV, you will just have to have the information here for you to update and attach the digital certificate information for printout purposes. Okay. So that is the thing that posted by the 5E side. So, but I don't have your names. I only see from the 5E. And there's one question from the Aslin. Aslin asking is it okay if we are not implement yet, but our customer and supplier already implement information? According to the guideline, of course, if you are not fall in that category, you don't implement it. Yes, you are allowed at this moment, according to the guideline, yes. Aslin, I'm not sure, are you from the account? If you are from the account, I think this one, your tax agent will also be advised the same thing. In the guide I have mentioned, yes, you have the right not to implement. But if your customer requests you to implement, of course, it's a must. Okay. And then another third question. I didn't catch the SDK part. Okay. SDK is the software development kit that will be released by government. That means it's their portal linking will be released. Okay. So at the current, they're not yet released. So this, as a provider, software provider will work with that. But for customer side, you don't need to worry about this. But you only have to be worried is when it can be ready by IRBM. Okay. So that's answer the question from the 5E side. Okay. So no, the thing for the API, just I think you have a few questions asking about the API. So for your version that for today's section is the NAV 4 to 2017. So for your version will not have any API readiness due to there is a technology change. The current API that in the NAV will be in the 2018, which is able to have more connector with the IRBM portal. So if you want to use the API models, API connector, then perhaps after this we can review about but when you want to be upgrade your dynamic NAV to the BC version. I believe that last year my sales team some of you about the upgrading of the dynamic NAV for your older version to the newer version. That is for the readiness for new technology to be applied, because Microsoft is already end of life, didn't support it for the older version. Okay.
Sharon, can I take this question?
Yes, Ken. Thank you, Florence.
All right. There's a few that actually question about the API. Varen, and I think mainly Varen Jasakita also, you have actually questioned about the API. Now, based on the e-invoice guideline, they allow you to actually do batch generation of the QR code and the validation. Therefore, CRT offer you the export method where you can actually generate the list of the e-invoice, the invoice that you have, and upload to the portal, and then you will get your validation code, the URL code, and the QR code. In technology wise, at the moment now, with your version, definitely we can't do the API directly unless it has to be customized specifically for your version only. So what we can offer to all of the customer today with older version is only on the export method. If you still have question on this, you can actually raise your hand and speak up. Varen, are you okay with the answer? Can you give me a thumbs up if it's all right? Okay, Varen, hands up. All right. You can unmute yourself and you can ask question. Okay, thank you for the hands up, the thumbs up. Okay, any other question on the API? We specifically target on the API first, because I think this one, a lot of people have queries because of your current version is actually not able to do the API version. Okay, I still see Varen's hands is up. Varen, are you able to unmute yourself? You can put in the chat group, then I can ask someone to unmute you. Okay.
He already put down the raise hand.
Okay, all right. So we have touch point on the API. Sharon, can you touch point on the I think we should touch point on the QR code, yeah? The QR code to print on outgoing documents, yes, it has to be printed on all your outgoing documents to show that your document is a validated invoice. However, the IRBM have actually mentioned when your invoice is validated, they will send you a copy and your buyer a copy. So that copy will also have the QR code. Hence, if you do not want to reprint, I reckon that we have to reconfirm with IRB. We have to check with LHDN before we can say that, because it did not mention specifically in the guideline. The guideline only say that your document must have this, whether it's my invoice portal or the API method. So carbon copy, I reckon you have to actually talk to them and see if the e-copy is sufficient enough or not. Okay, 5E, okay? If okay, give me a thumbs up. Then I know you hear me, because sometimes the mic and the speaker may not work very well. If I don't hear any reaction, I'm going to move to the next question.
Okay, the next question is from the Kick Long. Can we run the pending sales document report every day?
Yes.
So for instance, answer you, the answer yes is yes. All right. So Azlin, our company might not implement e-invoice in short time, but I mean, no, as when the big company, do we need to implement or will be exempted? I think e-invoices is mandatory to all, be it you were the LNW or SAT registration. That doesn't mention anything in the guideline whether you can be exempted from that or not. So that
unless
is
you are the
according
king.
to the guideline.
Unless you're the queen and king, you're the ruler.
Yeah, Okay. So,
Sharon, can you just flash the screen that the exempted list?
The
exempted list, yeah. Flash the screen so that they know that who are exempted. According to LHDN, everybody is mandatory.
Yeah. Wait, I press the screen again. Okay, so this is the listed exempted person, the association or which not required. So as per current, there doesn't mention any thing about the business scale. So if you got any further, in fact, in the guideline generated under the general guideline on the page 15 to 17, you can find the information here. Okay, the exemption from the implementing of the e-invoices. So if you look at the approval list, the person implement, so you can see all the business, including association, business trust, and also unit trust, all you have to be implemented. So I believe I think your company is a must, like what Foreign was saying. Okay, so this is a must. So
all right. The other thing
here.
that I think the only difference is that whether are you retail or not. Because if you're on retail where you do B2C, then you are allowed to do consolidated. So it means consolidated at the end of the month. You don't have to do it immediate. All right. Only B2C is allowed to do consolidated. So you may have company that you have set up, which we do not know of. So just take note and let us know which are the companies that may need the consolidated tax invoice. All right. In terms of the question, there is one question from Jasa Kita for export function.
Azlin got one more question before you scroll up further. Let's continue to Azlin question first, Ken.
Okay.
Okay. I think Azlin purchasing department, I mean, all bill will be digital too. No, it's because your supplier will also raise the purchase invoice. So all the purchase invoices, okay, they will also be uploaded. Only the self billable invoice, that's mean you do for your on behalf of your foreign vendors, then you are required to do the self billable invoices or any other like agent or the personal who didn't have the who didn't submit the e-invoice for you. Okay. So for other
Sharon,
local
can you go to the list? Okay. The self bill for purchaser. So for purchaser, usually is for the import. When you import, your supplier do not have the portal for them to go and upload their e-invoice, right? Because they are not required to do it, but you have to do it on behalf of them. You buy from online, purchaser who buy online, you buy things from e-commerce, you must create on your own. If the e-commerce platform is not local provider, if they are local provider, they will already upload their e-invoice. If you pay any commission or any payment to your agent, all right, the agent is not an entity, is a taxpayer, right? So you have to issue the self-bill invoice. Does that clear your question, Azrin? I need a response on the react button.
Azrin, you can raise your hand if you are clear and we can move on further for the next question.
All right. Thank you, Azrin.
Okay. So next is for Navaran. If we choose the method, we still need to print the QR security. I think just now we do a quick summary updated. We still have to find out more because as per current, according to the flow that the provider is, yes, you still have to share. But whether you can use their copy or use the copy that print from your ERP system or not, this one is still subject to confirm again. Okay, Varun, this is your question. This one is also, we have been answered about the QR code. If it's a carbon copy, this one at this moment, they don't mention about carbon copy, but I think if you print out your carbon copy, is it clear or not, clear enough or not? Because you can see from the QR code, all kind of the image is not so big. So that's why just now I did mention that you all may have to review again the current form document, output document you are using. So do you need to make a change or not before officially launch of the e-invoices? Okay. So jasa kita, I think there is one more question. I think just now we have answered API already because we already mentioned about for older version. If you want, then this one we need to be separately developed because as I said, due to the API technology and end-of-life support for the Microsoft side, so we need to be reviewed again when the thing is out. So hope this one jasa kita is understand that. I think Foreign also
aside
shared
to jasa kita, on this, whether will we build API on an old version, it will be based on bespoke because we will have to based on by customer. For the generic one, for all the customers, it is based on the batch generation. So for individual company with old version, if you need the API, then we will have our team to develop it separately, and that will take a longer time.
Okay. Jasa kita, the last question you posted is for using the export function, if you need to export one by one, you can export a list of the document, not just one by one. Okay, you can export in the batch. Okay. Right. So any more question? Q&A section
We
side.
have a question from Leefen on will guide how to create self-bill invoice. Yes, it's actually your purchase. So it's your purchase invoice. So in your purchase invoice, there is a function. So just now, Sharon has showed the screen. Our screen will have this self-bill boolean that you can confirm that this is self-bill.
Different because for that's same as how you're doing right now for your purchase invoices. It's just that a default setup will be provided in the MasterCard, so you can identify your bundles. So whether they are self-bill or not, for those import supplier, then they will flow the boolean to here. So other than that, the process will remain as per your current how you purchase all the purchase invoices.
Sharon, can you zoom into that two fields?
Okay, wait. Okay, can you see?
Click zoom. Yes.
All
right, Leefen.
click.
Okay. Can I have a react so that we know that you hear us?
Okay, thank you, Diffan. So any other questions? So you can post in the Q&A. Let me go to Q&A to check any other more questions.
Just go back to the timeline.
Okay, can wait. Okay, let me go back to
Okay, you can refer to the Q&A for our answers if you need to refer it back. But anyways, after this event, we will reach out to you, or you can also reach out to us directly to discuss on how to go about for your company, because every company, your timeline is different. All right. So as mentioned just now, for those which are mandatory in August, we did highlight that the subscription date shall start in June, because you may have to do all your setup and configuration and all your UAT, and you may want to do some training if it's required. All right. And after this is done, then you are ready to do the deployment. Now, I'm sure all of you have read the news that it was only declared last week or the week before, that the SDK will be released in May. Therefore, till today, nobody have tested how it works. So by May, once we have done the UAT with the SDK, we will give you more updates if there's any changes. For NAV objects 20, it is already ready. For ours, for your export method is ready. So now we just have to make sure that you confirm whether you have enough objects to use or not. Then once the SDK is done, then in June, we will release the objects, because the technical documents has been released to us and we already built what is required. The testing part is the part that need to finalize with IRBM. Okay, that question is from 5E. I would like to highlight to those which usually send your DO and invoice together during your operation. This is very crucial because you need your validated invoice to be submitted to the client. If it's not validated, the document going to your client, it can be rejected. Therefore, you have to review your company documentation to print it separately, okay? Or you have to process it earlier so that you will not have any operation congestion if you do not have the validated number. All right. So it's important that you plan out your SOP, your operation, your processes in-house during this timeline. Now we are in January, we are highlighting this so that you can actually look into all this. You can reach out to us. We will come in and see you one-to-one and look at the areas that need to make changes. Because these changes may change not only the e-invoice portion, but may change some of your current processes. That's all from my side. Over to you, Sharon.
All right. Thank you, Florence. I think there is some more posts here in the Q&A. What else the question is posted? Okay. Where will be ready? Okay.
Answer already.
I saw already, right? Okay. So
Yep.
Thank you, Florence. So any other question? If no, I will hand over back the session to Keisha. And then just now Farah already mentioned who to contact. You can either contact our sales side, Mr. Dick, Miss Keisha, or our support, or you can reach out my consultant any point of time if you got any query on today's section or on the Malaysia invoice package that we're going to be offered. Okay, Keisha, over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Florence. So I hope that you have gotten your questions answered. But if in case you still have questions, or maybe later on, after today's session, once you log off, then you're thinking about it and you're discussing with your team, and then you realize you have more questions, feel free to drop us a text and email. If you scan the QR codes on screen, you'll get Dick's or myself's contact. And so, like Sharon said, what happens from here? What happens from here is basically we'll be contacting you to kick off the implementation of the e-invoicing add-on to your NAV system. But in the meanwhile, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I forgot to take control, so requesting for control here. Okay, so we've come to the end of our webinar today. So I hope that it has been insightful and given you the assurance that you'll be able to transition smoothly into e-invoicing. And of course, I hope we've given you the confidence that we'll be able to help get you there. Before you leave, please take a minute to scan in this QR code on the screen to give us your feedback on today's session and how we can improve. And if you've missed parts of this webinar, don't worry. We will send out the webinar recording probably by this week. Give us a bit of time to, clean up, snip out a little bit of the part. And also the slides, we will send them out to you via email. So if you've gotten the QR code, thank you. Oh, yes, Florence, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I'd like to ask the attendees to help us to actually give the feedback here, right? And also put in any other areas that you have queries and that you want to know more. All right, that will help us to prepare before we come and see you. Okay.
Yep. As Florence mentioned, there are fields inside there that you can indicate what other information that you would like to have. And then rest assured, we will work with you on that. So if you scan in the QR code already, then this is the end of our session. So once again, thank you for your time, thank you for your attendance. We hope you have a great rest of the afternoon and evening ahead. See you again soon.